Hello everyone. Today I will take chemical reactions of aldehydes and ketones. There are number of chemical reactions which are given by aldehyde and ketones. The first chemical reaction is nucleophilic addition reaction. Nucleophilic addition reaction, the name itself suggests us that there will be addition of a nucleophile. Nucleophile means those species which are negatively charged and will get attracted towards the positive charge. Now this reaction is given by both aldehydes and ketones. So let's say if this is the carbonyl compound, this carbonyl compound can either be aldehyde or it can be ketone. Now this oxygen will is electronegative in nature, so this oxygen will withdraw the electrons and it will acquire a slight negative charge, and the carbon will acquire slight positive charge. Okay, so when the nucleophilic addition reaction will takes place, this nucleophile will going to attack this carbon. So let's see A and B be the groups. Okay, so if one of them is hydrogen and one of them is the alkyl group, then it will be aldehyde, and if both A and B are the alkyl groups or the aryl groups, or I can say that the carbon containing groups, then it will be a ketone. Okay, so I am taking this common compound as it either it can be aldehyde or it can be ketone. So when this carbonyl compound undergo reaction with nucleophile, the nucleophile will attack the positively charged carbon. Okay, this is the first step of nucleophilic addition reaction, and this will be a slower step. As a result, what will happen? So when this reaction takes place, a tetrahedral intermediate is being formed. This is a tetrahedral intermediate. So when this reaction takes place, a tetrahedral intermediate is being formed, and this tetrahedral intermediate further undergo reaction by taking the proton from the reaction medium. This step will be a fast step, and as a result of which it forms a electrically neutral species. It forms a electrically neutral species, or the final product is being formed. So this is a electrically neutral species, because here you can see that in this intermediate the oxygen is carrying a negative charge, but here it has taken the proton from the reaction medium and it has formed a electrically neutral species, or this will be the product that will be formed when the nucleophilic addition reaction will takes place. So the nucleophile will attack the positively charged carbon of the carbonyl group, and as a result of which the tetrahedral intermediate is formed. This tetrahedral intermediate is a alkoxide. Okay, this tetrahedral medium is a alkoxide, and in this alkoxide the carbon hybridization changes to sp3 from sp2. Here you can see that the hybridization of the carbon in the carbonyl group is sp2, but now that has been changed to sp3, and this alkoxide will undergo this reaction further by taking the proton from the reaction medium, forming the electrically neutral species. So this will be the mechanism of the nucleophilic addition reaction. So this is how the nucleophilic addition reaction will takes place. So this is the mechanism. Now if as I told you that the nucleophilic addition reaction is given by both aldehydes and ketones, but what will be the reactivity? One will be more reactive than the other. So next I will take the reactivity of the aldehydes and ketones towards the nucleophilic substitution reaction. The next point is reactivity. So first was the mechanism. If I take aldehyde and ketone, the reactivity of aldehyde will be more towards the nucleophilic addition reaction as compared to that of the ketone. If I look at the general structure of aldehyde, this is the general structure of aldehyde containing the aldehydic functional group, and this is the general structure of the ketone containing the ketonic group. Okay, why aldehydes are more reactive towards the nucleophilic addition reaction? There are two reasons for this. The first reason is steric reasons, and second reason is electronic reasons. I'll discuss both the reasons one by one. The first reason is steric reasons. If you look at the structure of the ketone, the ketonic group on both the sides is surrounded by the groups. Those groups can be either the alkyl groups or they can be the aryl groups, which are bigger in size as compared to that of the aldehyde. Aldehyde on one side contains the carbon containing group, but on the other side it has hydrogen. So in aldehyde there is more steric hindrance. In case of ketones there is more steric hindrance. More steric hindrance is there because of larger size groups on the either side of the ketonic group, which is absent in case of aldehyde group. Okay. So as a result of this large steric hindrance in ketone, the attack of the nucleophile on this carbonyl carbon will become difficult, whereas the attack of the nucleophile on this carbonyl carbon will become easier in case of the aldehyde, because aldehyde doesn't show any type of steric hindrance. Second reason is electronic reasons. The electronic reasons I can explain you. Look here, this is the general carbonyl group. Okay, we know this thing, oxygen delta negative and carbon aqua is a delta positive. So whenever the nucleophile is coming and it undergoing a nucleophilic addition reaction, then the nucleophile is attacking the carbon, which itself behave as a electrophile, because it is positively charged. So by electronic reason I mean that if I take ketone, the ketonic group is surrounded on both the sides by the carbon containing group. These carbon containing groups, what they will do? They will going to give more of the electrons to this carbon. So if this carbon is getting more of the electrons, then the electrophilicity means the ability of this carbon to behave as a electrophile. The electrophilicity will going to reduce in case of ketones. So will reduce in case of ketones. So if the electrophilicity of this carbon reduces in case of ketones, so the attack of the nucleophile will become difficult. Whereas if you look at the aldehyde is not surrounded on either sides, on both the sides by the carbon containing group, only one side it's there. So this carbon is more electrophilicity, this carbon is behave as more of the electrophile as compared to that of the ketone. So the nucleophile may attack this carbon easily. So these are the reasons, two reasons, the steric and the electronic reasons, which are responsible for the high reactivity of the aldehyde as compared to ketone towards the nucleophilic addition reactions. So now I have discussed two things, that is the mechanism as well as the reactivity. The next thing that I am going to take is some of the examples of the nucleophilic addition reactions. So next is the examples. The first example is addition of HCN, hydrogen cyanide. This reaction takes place in presence of a basic medium. So this basic medium will be helpful in producing the nucleophile. Just look at the reaction. This is the nucleophile. Now this nucleophile will undergo addition reaction. Since these reactions are given by both aldehydes and ketones, so I am just writing this. Okay, this is structure only. I am not mentioning whether it is aldehyde or ketone. It can be both aldehyde as well as ketone, but the common thing in them is that is they are containing a carbonyl group. They contain a carbonyl group. So I am just drawing the carbonyl group, leaving these things open. So when the reaction takes place, this intermediate is formed. This intermediate will take proton from the reaction medium and it gives the final product, that is cyanohydrin. So the final product is formed. This final product is known as cyanohydrin. So this is the first example of the nucleophilic addition reaction, that is addition of hydrogen cyanide, and the reaction takes place in presence of basic medium. The next example is addition of sodium hydrogen sulfide. Addition of sodium hydrogen sulfide. Just look at the reaction. This is the carbonyl compound. When it undergo reaction with sodium hydrogen sulfide, okay, it will break becomes a positive, and this will acquire a negative charge. Now this I have opened the structure and written in this manner, okay? You can see here. Now further there will be proton transfer. Further what will happen? There will be proton transfer. As a result of this proton transfer, this bisulfite compound is being formed. So this is how the addition of sodium hydrogen sulfide takes place with by aldehyde and ketone. How the aldehyde and ketone shows addition of sodium hydrogen sulfide. The third nucleophilic addition reaction is addition of Grignard reagent. Grignard reagents are the organometallic compound This is the general formula for Grignard reagent. Look how the reaction will take place. So Grignard reagent are the organometallic compounds which consisting of the organic group as well as the metallic group. So what will happen? For that it undergo hydrolysis. As it undergo hydrolysis, it gives the final product, that is So this is how the reaction takes place with Grignard reagent. The next reaction is nucleophilic addition of alcohol to the aldehydes and ketones. Addition of alcohols. First, I am taking the reaction with aldehyde. So, addition of alcohol to aldehyde. The reaction takes place in presence of HCl gas. I mark this alcohol alkyl group as R dash to differentiate it from this alkyl group which is present in the aldehyde. It forms hemiacetal. Okay, this intermediate is known as hemiacetal. This further undergo reaction with alcohol. This is known as acetal. So this is how the reaction of aldehyde takes place with alcohol. Now I will take reaction of ketone with alcohol. This is ketone. The reaction takes place again in presence of dilute HCl. I will just take the alcohol here, ethylene glycol. Instead of taking this alcohol, I will take the reaction with ethylene glycol. What is the formula for ethylene glycol? This is the formula for ethylene glycol. When the reaction takes place with ethylene glycol, it forms a cyclic structure. It forms a cyclic structure, and this cyclic structure is known as ethylene glycol ketal. Ethylene glycol ketal. So this was formed from aldehyde, so is known as acetal, and this is formed from ketone, is known as ketal. So this is how the reaction, nucleophilic addition reaction, takes place of aldehydes and ketones. Next, nucleophilic addition of ammonia derivatives. So next reaction of aldehyde and ketone is with derivatives of ammonia. With ammonia derivatives. Here B can be your alkyl group, aryl group, NH2, or it can be OH, etc. Okay. So look how the reaction will take place. This is your carbonyl compound, either aldehyde or ketone. When it reacts with ammonia derivative, this is the ammonia derivative that is undergoing the reaction. I am taking the ammonia derivative here. So when the reaction takes place with ammonia derivative, first it forms the intermediate. Like in all the other reactions also it forms an intermediate. And the final product that is formed is so this is how the reaction takes place. Now here the B can be your alkyl group, aryl group, hydroxyl group, NH2, etc. So this is how the reaction takes place, nucleophilic addition reaction of aldehyde and ketone with derivatives of ammonia. So here all the examples of nucleophilic addition reactions have been finished. So this is how the nucleophilic addition reactions takes place in case of aldehyde and ketones. The next reaction that is given by aldehyde and ketone is reduction reaction. Reduction reaction. Reduction reactions are of two types in aldehyde and ketone. The first is reduction to alcohols. Reduction to alcohols. Aldehyde and ketones can be reduced to alcohols in presence of sodium borohydride or lithium aluminium hydride that act as a reducing agent. So they can be reduced to alcohols by using some of the reducing agents like sodium borohydride or lithium aluminium hydride. The complete reaction I have already explained you in case of alcohols, phenols and ethers. The same reaction will be given here. The second reaction is reduction to hydrocarbons. Reduction of aldehyde and ketones to hydrocarbons. Now there are two such reactions in which the aldehydes and ketones will be reduced to hydrocarbons, and these both reactions are the name reactions. Okay. So the first name reaction is Clemmensen reduction reaction, and second is Wolff-Kishner reaction. So there are two reduction reactions in which the aldehydes and ketones will be reduced to hydrocarbon. Look at the Clemmensen reduction reaction. In this, the aldehydes or ketones, that is the carbonyl group, will be reduced in presence of zinc amalgam, and in this the carbonyl group will be reduced to CH2 group. Okay. So Clemmensen reduction reaction takes place in presence of zinc amalgam, and in this the carbonyl group will be reduced to your CH2 group. Zinc amalgam and hydrogen chloride is also used. Whereas in case of Wolff-Kishner reaction, the carbonyl group will be reduced to CH2 group. But first the reaction will take place with hydrazine. NH2, NH2. This is your hydrazine, and this hydrazine by elimination of water molecule will give you this intermediate, and this intermediate further on heating either with potassium hydroxide or with ethylene glycol, ethylene glycol will give you further final product. So this is how the Wolff-Kishner reaction will take place. So reduction to hydrocarbons involves Clemmensen reduction and Wolff-Kishner reaction. Clemmensen reduction reaction takes place in presence of zinc amalgam and hydrogen chloride, and Wolff-Kishner reaction takes place in two steps. First with the hydrazine by eliminating water molecule, and further on heating with potassium hydroxide or ethylene glycol will give you the hydrocarbons. So in this overall the reaction is that only the carbonyl group is being reduced to your CH2 group. So this is how the reduction reaction is given by the aldehydes and ketones. The next reaction that is given by aldehyde and ketone is oxidation reaction. Aldehydes and ketones also give oxidation reaction. When aldehydes and ketones undergo oxidation, on oxidation they will form carboxylic acids. So aldehyde and ketones will give carboxylic acids on oxidation. The general formula for carboxylic acid is this. Okay. Now the oxidation reaction by aldehyde and ketones can be given either by using some of the oxidizing agents like potassium permanganate, by using nitric acid, by potassium dichromate K2Cr2O7, or by using some of the mild oxidizing agents like Tollens reagent or Fehling reagent. So oxidation is possible by using these oxidizing agents. Now aldehydes can be easily oxidized to carboxylic acids by using these oxidizing agents. These oxidizing agents are used to oxidize aldehyde, to carboxylic acid. Whereas if I take ketones are oxidized to acid by using some of the strong oxidizing agents. Strong oxidizing agents will be needed to oxidize them. Other than this, the conditions which are needed to oxidize ketone to acid is vigorous conditions are needed, high temperature is needed. Okay, so oxidation of aldehyde is easier, that can be brought about by using these oxidizing agents like MnO4, HNO3, K2Cr2O7, Tollens reagent or Fehling reagent. Whereas in order to bring about the oxidation of ketone to acids, some strong oxidizing agents are needed, vigorous conditions are needed and high temperature is needed. Now Tollens reagent and Fehling reagent. Now I'll discuss these two oxidizing agents. These are the mild oxidizing agents which are used to bring about the oxidation of aldehyde. You will be using these reactions in your, they have some practical applications also. In your practicals also you are going to use these reagents. So Tollens reagent and Fehling reagent. These are the mild oxidizing agents which are used to oxidize aldehyde to acid. Okay, so we can use them to differentiate the aldehyde from ketone also. Tollens reagent and Fehling reagent can oxidize only aldehyde but not ketone. Okay, this can be used as a point to differentiate aldehyde and ketone. Now what is meant by Tollens reagent? Tollens reagent is the reagent which is ammoniacal silver nitrate solution. This is your ammoniacal silver nitrate solution. Now what happens when Tollens reagent is used as an oxidizing agent? So Tollens reagent is your ammoniacal silver nitrate solution. Ammoniacal silver nitrate solution is Tollens reagent. How Tollens reagent will bring about the oxidation? Tollens, on warming the aldehyde with this ammoniacal silver nitrate solution, what will happen? A silver mirror will be formed. A silver mirror will be formed, and this silver mirror shows that the aldehyde has been oxidized. Silver mirror will be formed along with your carboxylate ion. Okay, just look at the reaction. This is aldehyde. Okay, this aldehyde will undergo the reaction with this ammoniacal silver nitrate solution. This is Tollens reagent. The reaction takes place in case of basic medium. So this aldehyde will oxidize to carboxylate ion and a silver mirror will be formed. Okay, so this is how the oxidation is brought about by using a Tollens reagent. So Tollens reagent is ammoniacal silver nitrate solution. On warming aldehyde with this ammoniacal silver nitrate solution, a silver mirror will be formed and a carboxylate ion is formed. Now Felling's reagent. Felling's reagent is formed by mixing Felling A and Felling B solution. Felling reagent is formed by mixing Felling A and Felling B solution. Now what is Felling A solution? Felling A solution is your aqueous copper sulfate solution, and Felling B solution is alkaline sodium potassium tartrate. It is alkaline sodium potassium tartrate. So when these both solutions are being mixed together, they result in the formation of Felling's reagent, and that Felling reagent will bring about the oxidation of aldehyde. So on warming the aldehyde with Felling's reagent, a reddish brown precipitate is being formed. A reddish brown precipitate is being formed, and aldehyde oxidizes to carboxylate ion. Just look at the reaction. This is your aldehyde. Reaction takes place in basic medium. So the aldehyde oxidizes to carboxylate ion and a reddish brown precipitate is being formed. So Tollens reagent and Felling's reagent will be you will be using them in your practicals also. So in this, they are used only to oxidize the aldehyde to acid, and these are the mild oxidizing agents. Tollens reagent is ammoniacal silver nitrate solution, and Felling's reagent is a mixture of Felling A and Felling B solution. Felling A is aqueous copper sulfate and Felling B is alkaline sodium potassium tartrate. So this is how the oxidation takes place. The next reaction is reaction due to presence of alpha hydrogen. Reaction due to alpha hydrogen. What is meant by alpha hydrogen? Alpha hydrogen is the hydrogen that is attached, or that the hydrogen that is present in the alpha carbon. What is meant by alpha carbon? Alpha carbon means the carbon which is present next to the carbonyl group. Wait a second, I'll explain you here. If this be the carbonyl group, okay, this is aldehyde and this is ketone. So the carbon next to the carbonyl group, this will be your alpha carbon, because in ketone on both the side there are carbons, so this will be alpha alpha dash, and in aldehyde this will be the alpha carbon. The hydrogen that is linked to this alpha carbon will become the alpha hydrogen. So next chemical reaction of aldehyde and ketone is the reaction which is due to the alpha hydrogens, which are given by those aldehydes and ketones which have alpha carbon. Now in this reaction, what you are going to see is the aldehyde and ketone will easily give their alpha hydrogen. It means that they are showing the acidic nature. So aldehyde and ketones are acidic in nature, and this acidic nature is due to this alpha hydrogen, because they are easily they are able to eliminate this alpha hydrogen easily. Okay, so now let's look at the reactions which are given due to the alpha hydrogen. The reaction that is given by the alpha hydrogens are further classified into two types. The first reaction is aldol condensation reaction. This aldol condensation reaction is given only by those aldehydes and ketones which have alpha hydrogen. So those aldehydes and ketones will undergo reaction with dilute sodium hydroxide. So aldehyde and ketones will undergo reaction in presence of dilute sodium hydrogen oxide in order to give beta hydroxyaldehyde, in order to give beta hydroxy aldehyde, or this beta hydroxyaldehyde is also known as aldol, or to give beta hydroxy ketone. This beta hydroxy ketone is known as ketol. Okay, so aldehydes and ketones will react, okay, which have the alpha hydrogen in presence of dilute sodium hydroxide to give beta hydroxyaldehyde or aldol, or beta hydroxy ketone or ketol. This aldol and ketol that is being formed further lose a water molecule in order to give alpha beta in order to give alpha beta unsaturated aldehydes or alpha beta unsaturated ketone. Okay, alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde or alpha beta unsaturated ketone. So this is, I'm going to explain you the mechanism, I'm going to show you the reaction here in the slide, but what will be the basic thing that will happen in this reaction is that the aldehydes and ketones will undergo reaction in presence of sodium hydroxide to give the beta hydroxyaldehyde, that is aldol, or beta hydroxy ketone ketol, and that further loses the water molecule to give alpha beta unsaturated aldehydes. So I'll just going to show you the reaction here now. First I will take the reaction of aldehydes, and I will take that aldehyde which has a alpha hydrogen. So aldol condensation reaction I am taking for aldehyde. Whether the reaction is shown by the aldehydes or whether the reaction is shown by the ketones, the name will be same. That is the aldol only. They will be known as aldol condensation reaction only. Only the product that is formed will be called either as aldol or will be called either as ketone. Just look here to understand this. I am taking the aldehyde. These are the 2-ethanol, okay, which are undergoing the aldol condensation reaction. This carbon is alpha carbon. The hydrogen that is possessed by this carbon will be alpha hydrogen. The reaction takes place in presence of sodium hydroxide. Now just look at how the reaction will take place. Instead of writing here the complete methyl group, I can write in this manner also. I can open the structure. Now just look how the reaction will take place. This bond will shift here. This hydrogen, okay, so this bond when shifts to oxygen, carbon will acquire a positive charge. This hydrogen will take the electron from this bond. This carbon will acquire a positive charge and that going to attack here. Just see how the reaction will take place here. This is alpha carbon, this is beta carbon consisting of the hydroxyl group. So the name will be beta hydroxy aldehyde, or also called as aldol. Okay. Now what will happen? Further this aldol will lose a water molecule. How the water molecule will be lost? Just look here. Instead of writing this way, I can open the structure. Okay. So this water molecule will be eliminated out, giving you alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde. This is alpha carbon, this is beta carbon, there is a double bond between this. So this is your alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde. Okay. So this is known as aldol condensation reaction, and here I have taken the aldehyde. So this is how the aldol condensation reaction takes place in aldehyde. Okay. Next I will take the aldol condensation reaction in ketones. If the aldol condensation reaction, the name will be same. Although the reaction is taking place in ketones, then also it will be called as aldol condensation only. So let's take the ketones. They have alpha hydrogen, the reaction takes place in presence of dilute sodium hydroxide. I can open this structure. The bond will shift here. This hydrogen will come to this oxygen. Look at the product, what is formed. This is alpha, this is beta, this is your beta hydroxy ketone. It's having a ketonic group and a hydroxyl group at the beta position, or is also known as ketol. Now this ketol will undergo elimination of the water molecule. How that will take place? I can open this and I can write this in this manner. This will be eliminated of that water molecule, giving you alpha beta unsaturated ketone. This is alpha beta unsaturated ketone. This is alpha carbon and this is beta carbon. There is a double bond between them, that become alpha beta unsaturated ketone. So this is how aldol condensation reaction takes place in ketone. The name is same, aldol condensation, whether it is taking place in aldehyde or whether it is taking place in ketone. But what is necessary for this reaction is there should be alpha hydrogen present in the aldehyde as well as in ketone. So the first thing that is formed is the beta hydroxy ketone or aldehyde, that is aldol and ketol, and that further eliminate water to form the alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde or ketone. So this is known as aldol condensation reaction. Now the next reaction due to the alpha hydrogen is cross aldol condensation reaction. Cross aldol condensation reaction, the name itself suggests that there will be some change in case of the reactants. Okay. So next is cross aldol condensation reaction. What will be different in this type of condensation reaction is the reactants. The aldol condensation reaction will be there, but the reaction will take place in between different aldehydes or different ketones. Okay, the aldol condensation reaction was taking place in same aldehyde and ketone, but cross aldol condensation reaction takes place in between different aldehydes or different ketones. So let's see the cross aldol condensation reaction between two different aldehydes. I have taken the two different aldehydes, ethanol and propanol. The reaction will take place in presence of dilute sodium hydroxide. Just look at the product. First, the reaction will take place between the two ethanol molecules. Okay, the reaction will take place between the ethanol molecules only. As a result of the reaction, I am just writing the final products here. I am not writing the mechanism, but I'll explain you how these products are being formed. You can try it in your rough notebook. So this product is formed when the reaction takes place between two ethanol molecules. Then the next product that will be formed is this product is formed when the reaction takes place between two propanol molecule. You already know the mechanism. Okay. So when two propanol molecules undergo the reaction, then this product will be formed. Next product that is formed as a result of cross aldol condensation reaction is now these two products which have been formed, they are formed when the reaction takes place between one ethanol and one propanol. Okay. So total 4 products are formed as a result of cross aldol condensation reaction. The two aldehydes are involved in this reaction, that is ethanol and propanol. When only ethanol undergo aldol condensation reaction, then this product is formed. When only propanol undergo, this product is formed, and when one ethanol and one propanol undergo the reaction, then this product is being formed. So cross aldol condensation reaction is that reaction which takes place between different aldehyde or between different ketone. Now the last chemical reaction that is given by aldehyde and ketone is the last set of reactions. I'll take the 2 reactions in that set. So first reaction is Cannizzaro reaction. This reaction is given by those aldehyde and ketones which have no alpha hydrogen. So this reaction is given by those aldehyde and ketones which have no alpha hydrogen. Okay, let's take the reaction here. This is formaldehyde. So I have taken the 2 molecules of formaldehyde. There is no alpha hydrogen. So this reaction is given by those aldehyde and ketones which have no alpha hydrogen. What happened in this reaction is that the aldehydes or the ketones, that is these carbonyl groups, will undergo self oxidation and they undergo self reduction. They undergo self oxidation and self reduction. When they undergo oxidation, they will form acids, and when they undergo self reduction, they will form alcohols. And the reaction is given only by those aldehyde and ketones which have no alpha hydrogen. The reaction takes place. Look at these formaldehyde, they have no alpha hydrogen. So when they undergo reaction in presence of concentrated potassium hydroxide, so as a result of the self oxidation and self reduction, the product that will be formed is alcohol is formed as a result of self reduction, and it forms potassium formate as a result of self oxidation. So it forms methanol as a result of self reduction and potassium formate as a result of self oxidation. Here I have taken the 2 formaldehyde molecules. So this set of reaction is given by those aldehydes and ketones which have no alpha hydrogen. Now the last reaction, chemical reaction, which is given by aldehyde and ketone is electrophilic substitution reaction. Electrophilic substitution reaction. Electrophilic substitution reaction is given only by the aromatic aldehydes or ketones. Aromatic aldehydes or ketones give the electrophilic substitution reaction. They bring about the substitution of electrophile at the meta position. So we can say that these aldehydes and ketones are the meta directing groups. They are meta directing in nature. Just look at the reaction here. I have taken the aromatic aldehyde. This aromatic aldehyde is Benz aldehyde. Aromatic aldehyde undergo reaction in presence of nitric acid or sulfuric acid at a temperature of 273 to 278 Kelvin temperature range. So these are meta directing. So the final product that will be formed is, this is ortho, this is meta position. So the final product that is formed is meta nitro Benz aldehyde. So this is the last reaction, that is the electrophilic substitution reaction, that is given only by aromatic aldehyde and ketone. Now, so here we finish all the chemical reactions which are given by aldehyde and ketones. The last topic of aldehyde and ketones is their applications. That is very simple. What are the uses of aldehyde and ketones? First, they are used as industrial solvents. Second, they are used in pharmaceuticals industries, okay, in order to provide some flavors, okay. Now some of the ketones have some order and there are some of the flavors, so as a result of which they are used in some of the food products also. One of the aldehyde, that is your formaldehyde, the simplest aldehyde, is also used to preserve biological specimen. You might have seen in your biology lab that the specimens are being kept in some of the liquid. So that liquid is your formaldehyde, in which these biological specimens are being preserved. Benzaldehyde, that is the aromatic aldehyde, is being used in perfume industries. Then, so all these are the uses of your, some of the uses of your aldehydes and ketones. So here I finished the aldehyde and ketone portion. In the next video, I'll take the carboxylic acids. Okay. Thank you so much.